I'm Stephen Price.
Hello, I'm Cara Githens.
This is The Innkeepers, a podcast by Sanctuary Inn. At Sanctuary Inn, we believe we are called to equip, refresh, and restore God's global workers.
On this podcast, we will be interviewing guests who have much to teach us about the many facets of missionary care. Let's learn together and be encouraged to press on in the work God has given each one of us to do.
Hi, this is Steve.
Hello, this is Cara, and we want to welcome you back to Season 3 of The Innkeepers. We have had a busy season here at Sanctuary Inn this summer, and we are so glad that we get to get back into our podcast recording with you, and we just have some great guests and topics that we're going to be talking about this season.
Yeah, we have a great conversation with a gentleman who's extremely involved and connected in the world of global missions training.
Yep, and we're talking with someone who's a specialist with millennials and missions and ministry. And we're super excited about that conversation.
Yeah, we know sometimes that short-term missions is a real kind of a trigger sometimes in ministry and in missions, but we have a friend and an expert in the world of short-term missions. And
we'll be talking with some people about hospitality and kind of what we do here at Sanctuary Inn and caring for missionaries, and some other exciting topics as well.
Yeah. And we're looking forward to each of the interviews, and we hope that you enjoy this Season 3.
Thanks so much.
Well, this is Steve, one of the hosts from the Innkeepers podcast, and it's a quiet Sunday morning at Sanctuary Inn. There's sunny blue skies, which we don't always get in the wintertime, but sunny blue skies and a little bit of snow on the ground from our last snowstorm. And anyway, it's just a nice quiet morning here. I have a guest this morning. It's Tiana. Tiana has stayed with us at Sanctuary Inn before. Spring of 2018 is our best recollection. And Tiana serves with Crew, and she was for a time in Lithuania, and she's transitioning back to the States for a whole different ministry with Crew. I'm going to have her just talk briefly about that, and then I'm going to ask her to share a little bit about the significance of Sanctuary Inn. So Tiana, welcome this morning.
Thank you.
And tell us a little bit about Lithuania and then the ministry there and your transition now to what you're doing now.
Yeah, I was working with the campus ministry in Lithuania in the capital city of Vilnius. I worked with primarily all Lithuanians and spent 3.5 years there, part of it learning language and then reaching out to students. I came back in 2019, the summer of 2019, and just got to have the opportunity to come back to Orlando, Florida, which is where Cruz headquarters are, even though I'm from Portland here, and got to be a part of a program that Crew calls Lake Heart Stint. It's about a 1-year program where you work at the headquarters, and then they offer coaching, and they get people into counseling, and then they also have small groups, so it's instant community. You live with a group of people. There are about 50 of us all together, including children, and so it's a great transition. It was a nice soft landing to come back to the U.S. and have that program, and then also not knowing what I was coming back to in the U.S. as well as what was next. It was a good way to process my time overseas with other people who had been overseas. About half of our group came back from overseas in a variety of places, and so great to have that community of other, like-minded individuals as well as staff that were crew staff that cared for us and wanted to see us kind of experience some refreshment, rest, and figure out what's next in the second part of our year, and kind of transition to thinking about, okay, what does God have for us, whether it's with Crew or another organization or even in the working world outside of ministry. So I joined Unto, which is Crew's humanitarian ministry, and came back to the Portland area just this last year, summer of 2020, and started support raising because it's significantly more expensive to live in the U.S. But finished my support and looking forward to heading back to Florida to be there to work with Unto.
Okay. Yeah, and you've been able to share with us a little bit about that and just how they are trying to reach out and meet and touch very significant humanitarian needs. And so I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. So just talk briefly about your stay at Sanctuary Inn, the 2 times you've been able to be here, and just kind of generally how important it is for that there's a place where missionaries can come.
Yeah, I think there's been 2 significant just transitions in my life. The first time that I came to Sanctuary Inn, I was wondering if I should continue to be overseas and if it was a good fit for me. And it had been a dream to be in Lithuania, to work with college students, to share the gospel. And things were just really hard, very lonely. And so when I got to spend about a week here, the first time that I came, just really got to process with Kara and with my own counselor. And I remember there's a picture of the bridges of Portland. And it was an inspiring view of as missionaries, we are the bridge to the people that we're trying to reach. And part of being that bridge is being sacrificial. And Jesus was that bridge to us. And it really reminded me of what I was doing, language learning, and the things that I was doing in order to connect with the people in Lithuania. We're building that bridge, and helped me to do one more year. So Sanctuary was really, I would say, a vital point for me to recognize, okay, I can do one more year. Here's the things that I need. Here's the rest that I needed to be here. And, being away from churches and the voices of other people is helpful when you can get away. And it's kind of like when Jesus went up on the mountain to pray, and you allow those just maybe times of quietness or reflection, or even using a picture to speak to your situation. And then, so I would say that was the first kind of reason, just experiencing, okay, can I do this? Is this what God is calling me to? Do I have the strength and endurance to go back to the country I'm serving in? And Sanctuary Inn was really pivotal for me to see, yes, I can do that. And I did it for a year. Thank the Lord. He really gave me the strength and courage to go back for a year. And then I think this weekend, just getting to spend a shorter period of time as I finished support raising, just kind of thinking, okay, there's another transition in my life. One is moving again and processing, saying goodbye to a place I love, and the Portland area, and just a community and place. And just something that I love about Portland is the outdoors. And so being able to come up here and experience, the cedar trees that are massive, and to reflect on what it looks like to say goodbye well, and also what it looks like to look forward to where I'm going. So I would say, another significant portion is when you transition is to pause and to anticipate what you're looking forward to, but also grieve what you're going to lose in that process. And that's just a really healthy thing. And I think at the end of support raising, you're like, okay, I need a break. I need to have some different surroundings and things like that. So that's another important aspect for missionaries, to be able to get away and have a place, because you don't always have the funds. And the church has been able to support me in being here and saying, we want to gift that to you. And that's been a real blessing too.
Yeah, well, thank you. And your supporting church, one of your supporting churches in Portland, has been a huge blessing to Sanctuary Inn as well. And they have actively encouraged their missionaries to come and stay here. And we've really enjoyed that a lot. And the point you made about transition is so significant, because there is never change without loss. And even though it can be a super exciting change and a great change, there's always loss that goes with the change. And anytime there's loss, there's grief. And they travel hand in hand. And so, yeah, even you have the opportunity for an exciting new ministry, but you have to mourn the things you're leaving behind, your relationships in Lithuania and some of those experiences and the friendships, and then also leaving Portland and moving to Orlando and all those things, but also at the same time looking forward to what God has for you. So It's a complicated life being a missionary. But anyway, thank you for your time this morning, and we wish you all the best as you make that transition. We look forward to having you back at the next opportunity.
Sounds good.
Thank you for tuning in to the Innkeepers podcast. Our mission at Sanctuary Inn is to equip, refresh, and restore God's global workers for kingdom purposes. We hope today's podcast was an encouragement to you, and maybe you were prompted to pass this along to someone you know that will benefit from today's conversation. Creating a podcast is a team effort. Cara and I prepare and do the interviews, and we're grateful for the time that our guests give us out of their busy schedules to help us learn more about missionary care.
We also want to thank Tim Downing for the music that he wrote and performed specifically for the Innkeepers podcast. Tim is a very talented musician, and you can learn more about him and his work at downingkeys.com. Our podcast is edited by Javier Bolanos and is produced by Tim Cowley of Cowley Visuals. If you have media needs, including film, photography, or audio, you can reach Tim at cowleyvisuals.com.
Our website and show notes are prepared by Micah Gibbons, Cara's amazing husband. You can visit the Sanctuary Inn website and learn more about the ministry of Sanctuary Inn at sanctuaryinn.org. Thank you again for joining us on our journey to learn more about missionary care.
See you next time.